water bugs, they have this oily substance in their skin. It makes them not only virtually waterproof, but just really not so tasty for the crocodiles. This last week has been amazing, right? Beautiful views of phenomenal creatures. But I think I'm ready for something a little bigger. Anybody else ready to see if we can find some elephants? Alright, let's go look for the pachyderms. Before we started this adventure, though, I did have some conversations with the wardens because I wanted to know where
Go to CVS and grab a pachyderm.
over there for some photos. Every single one of them said, go to the red clay pits, go to the red clay pits. I saw baby elephants at the red clay pits. And boy, baby elephants, you know how to tell me twice. I know a shortcut over here at Monkey Point. Elephants live in a matriarchal society, and kids, this means the mamas, they're in charge. So more often than not, when we see a herd of elephants, they're going to be females all working together to raise the babies. Meanwhile, through our travels, if we do see one lone elephant, that's going to be the bull or the daddy, as these guys are loners. They don't stay with the herd. I called this area Monkey Point, though, because of a troop of very shy mantle monkeys that were spotted through these parts. If you look through the trees off towards the left, towards the front of the truck, I saw a little guy kind of wandering by the bushes. They're terrestrial creatures, which means they like to stay on the ground as opposed to up in trees. Keep a look at it as we move forward. Largest monkey here in Africa, the males can weigh about 100 pounds, while the females are much smaller at 30 pounds. Just a glimpse of them. We'll keep looking for some elephants. Here in Africa, males and females both grow the beautiful ivory tusks, which kind of makes them prime targets for poachers. They also have to deal with human encroachments into their habitats. They're constantly forced into human-populated areas, which can be very dangerous. Not only for elephants, but also for us as humans. But don't worry, even in your own home, you can protect the gentle giant simply by recycling your old electronics. In our cell phones and iPods is an ore, it's called coltan, that's mined here in Africa where elephants live. And if we recycle and reuse the ore, we wouldn't have to mine for it anymore. It doesn't look like we'll be taking my shortcut. All the rains recently washed away my path. No worries though, GPS says if we go straight ahead, we can still make it over to those clay pits. Just a little bit more of a scenic route. Such is the life of a safari driver, folks. It's always an adventure out here, that's for sure. Another bridge. This one looks a little worse than the first. Alright, just like before, let's stay seated, maybe hold on. Cross your fingers for a little luck as well. I don't know how much longer the duct tape's gonna hold up. Well, you know, Kuna Matata, I probably just unfortunately are once again being threatened due to poaching for their horns. Their horns are actually contain the same material as our fingernails and hair, which is keratin, and they're highly valued in the black market, with poachers nowadays having much more sophisticated means of being able to hunt them. Here in Harare and in other reserves across Africa, though, we're going to continue our efforts to better protect and preserve these 5,000-pound white rhinoceros. I keep calling them white rhinos. It's actually how they got the name white. It was lost in translation. It's an Afrikaans word, W-I-T, white, meaning wide, for their wide mouths.
Other wide things.
Westerners heard white. They were saying white. Spotted a coalition up ahead. Pretty rare sight as well, seeing as cheetahs are normally solitary animals. I see one walking around, it looks like two hanging out at the top of the hill towards the front of the truck on our left. These are the fastest land mammals, folks, at 60 miles an hour for just a couple hundred yards, though, as they, more like sprinters, they get overheated real quickly. Yeah, not a nice thing to do, you know, provoke animals, especially hunters that can run much faster than we can. They are also daytime hunters. So, yeah, continue whistling. I'll run a little faster than you. They are one of the only large cats to do so using their eyes instead of their nose for hunting. But from our daytime predators, we're going to see if we can find some nighttime predators up here at the Kopi Formation. Kopi rocks are an excellent place to find lions as they perch high in the rocks, not only to sunbathe, but to use it as a vantage point to look for food across the savannah. As I've mentioned, they're nighttime hunters. They're also inactive nearly 20 hours of their day, folks. So more than likely, if we see a lion, they're going to be lounging around like a house kitty. Keep our eyes open as they round the Kopi, see if we can get you a glimpse of one. Looks like a couple more white rhinos out to our right-hand side. About a day's journey away. There he is, in all his glory, doing what he does best, folks. Looks like his little lady's right behind him there. Now, the lioness are the ones that do most of the hunting, so the male lion can protect the territory of the cubs. And they happen to be pretty social cats as well. These guys hunt, eat, and live in groups that we call prides. There's some really large holes in the earth, and sometimes they're occupied by some of the larger burrowing mammals. And that, my friends, are warthogs. Here comes one now. Using their sharp tusk and shovel-like snout, they'll dig in the ground, building their burrows, and then they back in to use their tusks as protection. Even though they have little legs, these guys can run pretty fast at about 35 miles an hour. The white animals are scimitar horned oryx. They get their name from the Middle Eastern sword of scimitar, which has got the shape of those 42-inch horns. In the 1980s, they were considered extinct in the wild, but since then we have repopulated and reintroduced them, making them a really great success story out here. Unfortunately for these little brown pontopocs, the fairy tale ending is not the same as the 19th century. They've been extinct in the wild and found only in reserves like this one. Clutch of ostrich eggs on the ground to our left, very large, very strong at 3 pounds each, and I think I saw one of the birds up ahead on the right. We'll continue in that direction. Ostrich are one of the more common birds here in the savannah, averaging